Hey guys, thanks for checking out the channel. Tobin here with you. Appreciate you guys checking us out. If you could subscribe, that'd mean a lot to me. And if you don't, I still like you too. Whatever, dude. Anyway, we got the preseason finale coming up this weekend. Dolphins, Jaguars, as they travel up to Jacksonville to wrap this puppy up and head on into the season. A lot of road games to get going to kick this thing off, but a lot of controversy this week. You know, it's been, you know what, it's almost like you missed it. We haven't had a good Tua controversy in a while. You know, a dumb critique of the Dolphins quarterback. It wasn't going to be a summer without it, right? It wasn't going to be a summer if we didn't get somebody hosing down Uno for some dumb reason. And it was, this time it was Ryan Clark. Now, I will say to Ryan Clark's credit, good apology. Just by like a measure, used his 2.5 minutes, felt like he hit all the bullet points, seemed genuine, says it wasn't mandated by ESPN, which I believe, by the way, because ESPN loves to hose down Tua and would love to make this a talking point throughout the entire season. But I do think that Ryan Clark, you know, one of the things that, you know, he does a very good podcast, very player and guest driven with Channing Crowder and Fred Taylor. And I don't think that's a place where you want to burn bridges, because I think you want to be looked upon as like the players podcast, the podcast where people want to go to. I'm sure Tua's a guy. In fact, I've had Fred Taylor on the show before, and they said they've wanted to get Tua on the show. So not exactly, and I'm sure it would do huge numbers. So not exactly a bridge you want to burn. So yeah, there may be some professional motive behind the apology as well, but I also just think that Ryan knew that, hey, if a guy takes something like that wrong, first of all, no athlete, and I'm sure he can relate to this, like no athlete wants their work ethic being called out. Forget the fat shaming, even though I don't know if you guys saw Hard Knocks, but Quentin Williams was very bothered by Mike Evans fat shaming him. Like he did not like it. His feelings were hurt. So nobody likes being fat shamed, and especially if you did put in the work. No, aside from the fat shaming, nobody wants their hard work being dismissed like they didn't do anything. And I think that's probably where it mostly goes awry. Like, you know, all of it was in bad taste, and especially is made worse by the fact of, I think Tua really thought this was going to be the year where I don't got to deal with this stuff. I don't got to deal with the cheap shots anymore. Mike McDaniel was asked about it and really didn't go anywhere near the comments of Ryan Clark, but did say something with Tua that kind of got me goosed up and excited.
You want to talk about every metric that that Dave Paloka and his strength staff really track, which is pretty much everything. I mean, to the degree of blinks, every metric of strength that is measured, he's he's shattered his previous highs, and in some instances he's almost twice as strong with things, and that's been a daily commitment that he hasn't wavered from. He's taken his nutrition to another level. He's taken his commitment to what he's trying to do, and really, thought outside the box and really worked at it. So I couldn't be happier with the work that he's put in.
He's not only put in a ton of work and worked on his body and all that type of stuff. We know about the jiu-jitsu story. That's been hammered a lot. Although I will say, Tua said that's going to remain part of his regimen even in the season, that he's going to still be doing classes at least once a week. So that's a pretty cool thing. I'm excited about that. But I think the idea that Mike McDaniel is saying, like, look what this guy's done. He's nearly doubled his strength in some areas, smashing previous highs. And also, you don't want, like, your quarterback, like, there's very few, Cam Newtons and Ryan Tannehill was jacked. Like, it's not like a necessity of the job for your quarterback to look like a GQ model. And I just thought it was a weird thing to critique Tua on. I'm like, man, all these things that he has to go with, arm strength and commitment and durability and all that stuff. And it's like, now you're going to question his work ethic? Like, that's a crazy thing to me. But anyway, we got the final preseason game coming on up. It will be interesting to see how much Tua plays. McCochin did spin on that a little bit, and this is what he said on how much we shall get Tua and the starters.
By and large, things always fluctuate depending on variables that are both with play and with personnel around players. And my plan has been, in the back of my mind, the starting point was more than a series, less than a half for all the starters. Now, that is dependent upon today's practice, and overall, you're just trying to prepare guys for the regular season. I had in the back of my mind, if all things were even, two would play on Saturday, but that's something that I'll revisit with the coaches after we've completed this practice. To kind of solidify that. But he's been prepared to all week. I told him that after the last game, and so he's prepared as though he is playing, and we'll revisit that after today's practice.
So that was, I thought, a little interesting. He says more than a quarter, more than a series, less than a half. So maybe it's just a case of he feels, okay, that's enough work that the offense has gotten, because Tua had said earlier in the week that he was treating this like a game week, which made me feel like this was going to be the traditional play the entire first half, come out for the first series of the second half. That's what I thought was it going to be, but it sounds like McDaniel is leaning towards it's going to be less than that. And to each his own. I think Doug Peterson is going to supposedly play the starters a lot. Vic Fangio has talked this week that they're going to get a real test with Trevor Lawrence, so he's excited about that for the defense. But, for Tua, I don't think that it's a case that he needs a ton of work, especially if Tyreek Hill, who is, who was held out one day, but like if he's dealing with some stuff, if any, you don't want to go out there with just a complete set of backups. Although I do think it is good for Tua to get some chemistry with other guys, especially basically everybody after the top two guys. You got Chosen, who's new, Braxton, who's new. So you got some. Ezukama didn't play last year really much with Tua, so I think there's an opportunity there for other new guys to get a chance to get out there with their starting quarterback and get to know him a little bit, and he gets to know them a little bit. So there's some benefit there as well. And then, of course, see where the other jobs lie. See if we get a hint of like where the quarterback battle is, where the safety battle is at. Does Isaiah Wynn have the left guard battle cinched up? Is that his now because of how last week went with Lester Cotton being out, with Eichenberg being out? Is that puppy wrapped up and we can move on to something else? Kendall Lamb has basically been the left tackle without Teron Armstead there. And then it's going to be interesting on the running back front of this thing because, the Jonathan Taylor rumors are obviously swirling heavy. Raheem Mostert's response to it seemed kind of frosty, probably tired of it. We didn't get Jeff Wilson last week. We didn't get Myles Gaskin. And Savon Ahmed was balling. I mean, he was really, really good. Not going to get A-Chain, obviously, because he's dealing with the shoulder. So I would expect they're going to keep him out. We know Mike White's not going to play. He's in concussion protocol, so it's going to be basically the Skylar Thompson show, maybe James Blackman in the fourth quarter. And so when you get to the running backs, I mean, like, who is fighting for a gig there? Who is trying to show some stuff off there? Is this an Ahmed versus Myles Gaskin battle? Are they fighting for a roster spot, or are they going to keep multiple? Are they going to keep five guys? Chris Brooks has impressed a lot of people as well. Does one of them want to go somewhere else to get more of an opportunity? Because two of those guys feel like, what am I, fourth on the depth chart here? Like, when am I ever going to get on the field? Plus, they're already looking for a star running back. So all that stuff's very fascinating as well, man. And of course, you have the greatest battle of all in this preseason game, which is hair between Trevor Lawrence and Andrew Von Ginkel. And I'm a Von Ginks guy. I think Von Ginkel takes it. It's a little bit more like Von Ginkel's mane is a little bit more rugged than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence got that pretty boy blonde hair, pin straight. Looks like he conditions it with lilac. Andrew Von Ginkel, he's got some Viking hair, dude. Man's man. I just feel it's a little bit more rugged. It's not that Trevor Lawrence doesn't have he does have great hair, but Trevor Lawrence looks like, he looks like he uses 9 shampoos in the morning, right? Like he looks like he takes care of that hair. I don't feel he wakes up and looks like that. I feel like Trevor Lawrence is getting up at 5 a.m. He is shampooing, conditioning, blow drying, and then going rinse repeat. He's doing 2 times through the cycle. Like he's doing the car wash and the wax to get that hair looking like that. Von Ginkel, he just rolls out of there. He looks like Valhalla. That's how he looks, dude. So I to me, that is a great battle that we're gonna have to see here too. Will we see 2 collide here, 2 blonde manes, 2 lions going at it when it comes to this entire thing? And then look, man, after this, you're all winding down to week 1, and we'll see what the where the dust settles with this whole Jonathan Taylor thing. Barry reported that they did make an offer that got shot down. The one thing is good is we will know, I guess, by next Tuesday. This isn't going to be Dalvin Cook watch. If you want to cross sports, this isn't going to be Damian Lillard watch for the Miami Heat. This is boom. We should know, and we'll know. And I can understand. The thing that's interesting with the Dolphins is being involved in every star running back that's been in the ether. Taylor, Barkley, Cook. There was a report yesterday that they made a move on Josh Jacobs but got shot down. So as much as Mike McDaniel says he loves the running backs and loves his guys, there very clearly has been an effort to go and try and get a star running back, right? Whatever that effort level is, how much their budget is, how much they're willing to give up in assets is another. But there has been an effort. They have been turning over stones very clearly for one specific thing, and that is a proven star running back who's a little bit younger or a lot of bit younger than their current starter. And maybe the hope is you get the young guy, and then Mostert becomes this weapon that you don't have to utilize because he can get banged up. He is the age that he is. And then you could kind of use him in these specialty packages because, holy crap, he's all world fast. But I have found that interesting that no matter, it seems, what star running back becomes available, the Dolphins are in it. And I don't know if that, Mike McDaniel was sounding a little frustrated about this yesterday. He was saying something to the effect of like, Twitter reports, like that's the equivalent of value of my 2-year-old being able to tweet anything out because it seems like every player is coming to the Dolphins. But I don't think this stuff comes from nothing. And also the Dolphins do like stars. Let's be real about it. For the most part, a lot of these trade rumors, there's been a lot of smoke to it. Sometimes that smoke turns into, honestly, the one that really, I think, came out of nowhere really quickly was the Tyreek one. Because the Bradley Chubb was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of, yeah, and it didn't happen. Tyreek was like, Tyreek, Dolphins or Jets? No, he's a Dolphin. And boom, there it was. But yeah, man, I think this is interesting to see whether or not they are going to go in that direction. I get the arguments. People are like, too much money. Nobody's investing in that position anymore. What about Wilkins? What about the other guys you got to pay? Comfort level with the guys that you have. I do think that the fact that we're this deep into the camp, basically camp's over. I don't even know why I'm saying camp because we start basically practice next week. So we're this far into the preseason, and does McDaniel want to make a change there? It's going to be interesting, especially with a guy that he maybe doesn't know. But I'm sure that there wouldn't be any even rumors of talks if they didn't think that he would fit in seamlessly.